Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about to buy or not to buy in 2022. So let's dive right into it. Now, this puppy is bad at this point in time, meaning at this point in time, when people are talking about prices are coming down, they're not even talking about prices coming down to MSRP. It's like, instead of like 3x, it's only 2x. So it has created a scenario where people have forgotten like products supposed to be sold at MRP. That is like something like, whoa, like what kind of old person are you that you bought things at MSRP? So this is a very serious thing. And not to mention, this is at this point in time, almost our second year of this hell. And prices of many things are still in multi-x territory, meaning they are not bit expensive, they are multiple times expensive, 3 times, 2 times, or first time x, meaning like 0.5x. That's very high. That's not like 3 to 4% price gouging. That's like just like, yeah, you sell your kidney to buy a computer. That is flat out unacceptable, and new launches are on the horizon which could make the system far more worse or far better. We'll talk more about that now. Why this is happening? Well, simple fact is supply is unable to ramp up to maximum capacity. Now, why is that? While we are aware of silicon shortage, reality is there's shortage of everything, meaning from copper to basically metal to make container ships, to make the goddamn container itself. Like everything is running out flat out. Fundamentally, there is a very severe shortage of almost everything. We are literally running on borrowed time. Before it runs out, we'll be like, everything is like, it looks okay, and randomly we're like, wait a minute, why everything is going yellow? Simply because of that. Like, we have way too many shortages. Many times people will think, oh, people are not buying new cars, like, well, what's a big deal? It is a very big sector of economy. If this stops, there are cascade failure of that, meaning people are not buying the new cars. That means old cars are not going into second hand market. That had like a huge repercussions. On top of that, trucks are also a thing that's supposed to be made, and they are not being made at the same rate as it used to be, meaning truck supply is down, meaning truckers can charge whatever they want simply because there are not enough new truckers. So you get that point. Like, there is a cascade failure that's happening flat out. And Corona started this, but it was not the cause of it. Be very mindful of that. Yes, Corona like triggered this sort of event, but it was inevitable. Practically speaking, any analyst who's analyzed everything is like, our world is way too many of what we call a single point failure. Meaning, if this goes, we did. And like, think of it this way: there was a boat that stuck in a canal, and whole world trade stopped. One boat. That's the whole point. That's what we call single point failure, meaning if this happens, the end. So that is fundamentally a problem with our modern hyper connected world. And again, Corona exposed it. Corona was like, what if this happens? Okay, it happened, the end. Everything went yellow after that, and things are keep getting worse after that. It's like somehow that itself was like bad enough, then other things are happening, meaning literally, how many of you have like still forgotten about Israel and Palestinian conflict that happened in 2021? Like, 2020 was bad enough, 2021 literally had a conflict. Now you may be like, okay, that's a small scale conflict, did not had two giants fighting it out, and a lot of things at stake. But because of the nature of stock market, even minor fluctuation on one far end of the country could literally have a cascade failure. That's the reality of it. Like, this was bad. Like, from a stock market point of view, this was bad. Not too bad, but bad enough where it's like, bad of 2020 plus bad of 2021 started to create an issue where people are like, dude, this is not gonna go well. And this was just till 2021. Then we have 2022, which is like Ukraine-Russia war. This is bad. Because at this point in time, if you understand, Russia and Ukraine both are big boys, meaning in terms of things they export to the world, I mean to everybody, to Egypt, to India, to USA, to everywhere. It's huge, meaning all these exporters are important part of the supply chain, meaning if any one of them goes YOLO, we did. So how big these things are? Well, big things people are talking about right now is rockets. Thankfully, SpaceX exists, Elon Musk exists, and his he's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it, and he did it. Thankfully, that's why America has completely 100% American made rocket system. You do not provide us RD engines, we still got this. They're taken care of ISS. Again, Cygnus is there. Cygnus does have the ability to reboost, and again, if needs to, Dragon can do emergency reboost if worst case scenario happens. But be mindful, like, they have the rocket, they have the resupply capability, they have the reboosting capability, they got it. Like, again, it's bad but not too bad. Again, for India, it's extremely bad simply because Ukraine is our partner with new engine development that was happening on. Again, I have no idea why ISRO was developing in partnership, but again, it was doing that, so it's an issue. So you get that point. Like, rocket is affected everywhere. Like, whole space race is being affected affected by this. Then you have oil and gas. Now this is the lifeline of the goddamn economics, meaning if you do not have fuel, how the heck you transport it? Like, you do not talk about like, oh, battery vehicle system. You do not have battery powered container ship moving like, goods from point A to point B. That's not happening, nor it's ever gonna happen. Physics does not allow that. The only thing that can replace those things is small modular power reactors. Other than that, nothing else. So fundamentally, oil and gas must flow. The spice must flow. Russia is a big contributor to that. If Russia stops, the end. That is very serious. Then we come to the things that are the foundation of our modern world: copper and iron. Like, how do you supply your aging basically container ship fleet? By creating new one. Here's the deal. What do you need? What is the primary requirement for that? Iron. You run out of iron, done. Two of the huge exporters of this puppy. Then you have copper. Like, yeah, you have the silicon die, that's awesome, but where the heck you gonna place it? You're gonna place it in PCB. What is the primary component of PCB? Copper. So you get that point. Like, this is a very serious thing. Like, these two puppies are a huge supplier, not only in terms of raw materials, in terms of fuel, in terms of food, everything they provide. Like, it's a significant enough part that if any of those two go boom, good luck. So price of everything will go up like rocket. While rockets are being grounded, this puppy will go up. That is one thing that we have to understand. Silicon chip shortage is bad, but food shortage would be worst. Fuel shortage would be really bad. So we are very close to that. Like, we are very close to that. Now, many times people are saying like, oh, why European Union is not going all in, why USA is not going all in, and like, blocking everything. Well, reality is economic sanctions are what we classify as double-edged sword. While it sounds awesome that we're gonna cut Russia from the outside world, yeah, here's the deal. You are also cutting yourself from this puppy, meaning 30% of the crude oil petroleum export that Russia does, and it's a huge, meaning around 10% of the world fuel will go poof. That matters a lot. And not to mention rice, petroleum gas, many things. So this is double-edged sword. That's why America is not so keen on using that. And there is another consequence that if they use this, if the petrol dollar ever stops, that will create a cascade failure where every other company is like, what if we create another backup? Rather than, like, for example, Russia did anticipate that, so they converted a lot of their dollar reserves into gold, and China is also doing the same thing. So if they force this sort of system, instead of using dollar for transport, people will be like, hey, give us gold. So you get that point. Like, economic sanctions are a double-edged sword. It cannot be just wielded lol. It is something, again, there was one option that the moment Russia started this, like, done. Like, such a sudden spike could have caused an issue, but again, politics, bureaucracy, but it is a very bad situation. So be very mindful. The economic fallout would be brutal for all of us on this planet. Would be brutal, not only for the kids of Ukraine, for everyone. It would be brutal. What about the prices at this point in time? If you type about prices, people are thinking that prices are dropping, which is absolutely true. You will find something graph like this. There was a bit of hike and then prices start to drop. Now there are many things behind it, simply because crypto performance is not going up as people expected, and not to mention the fact that second biggest crypto is going away from graphics card mining to ASICs mining. We are like, yeah, graphics card demand is no longer like YOLO demand. So it's like starting to taper down at this point in time. And for many analysts, it's like, dude, if you're buying new graphics card right now, it's actually you are losing money if you do that. So there is this very serious oversupply at this point in time, and demand is also slowly dropping, simply because people who wanted to buy this, for example, what did many people do? They bought laptops. They got it. It's like there was a demand for one graphics card. That person is now satisfied with laptop. There was a demand for a console. That person is satisfied with a laptop. Like, laptops, their laptop sales are awesome this year, simply because of work from home. Every Tom, Dick and Harry, every laptop manufacturers, they are like printing money at this point, and they're like quietly winning everything. So demand is slowly dropping, and people are accepting it. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy graphics card that cost like kidney and stone. Yeah, it's not happening. Price demands are fundamentally dropping. So overall, people can no longer charge 300% overprice, like 3x prices. Like, that was stupid. 2.4x prices. Right now, 1.5x pricing you can expect to see at this point in time. So prices are going lower, and at this point in time, all analysts are projecting price can go a little bit lower too. Not still close to MRP, but it can still go lower. Now here's the deal. The reason why that's happening, because we are not running out of stockpile yet. But if Russia-Ukraine war extends for much longer, it will be bad. That stockpile will run out. The moment that run out, we will have another price gouging underway at that point in time. Meaning this spike will look like a child's play, because be mindful, copper start to go away, every electronic starts to go away at that point in time. It's not no longer graphics card. People like government may have to take incentives where it's block sales of every non-essential equipments, and make sure our country has motors, we need motors in order to survive. All those things, like the many things that you do not think important, but they are like backbone of this country or every country, has to be like, prioritized. Yeah, you can live without your graphics card, you cannot live without, induction motor, because, well, how do you get water? Induction motor. So you get that point. Like, this is very razor's edge at this point in time. That stockpile, longer that lasts, awesome for us, but if it runs out, this sort of spike will look child's play. And not to mention, you may not even want to buy after that point, simply because fuel prices will go so up. You're like, you know what, I think I can live without gaming PC, but I do need fuel for my car, or do need fuel to travel or something like that. Or important things like food, because food prices will also go up, because again, farmers do consume insane amount of fuel because they have to. Tractors plowing hectares of land does consume fuel. So prices are going up. And this is a very awesome graph that shows you how badly copper prices are going up. Like, this is 2016, that is 2021. That's bonkersly high prices. So again, if that puppy goes any further, bye-bye computers. Bye-bye basically any complex electronics. All complex electronics require PCB. PCB requires copper. So this is a very serious thing. So at this point in time, we are on a knife edge. One way, we may have a price drop. Another way, good luck. Like, MRP will become, like, even at that point, flat out companies will increase their MRP. It's like, dude, we will not even pretend to about this MRP. We're like, $50,000 for this graphics card. Now, what should you do? Should you buy or not to buy? Again, if you can wait, or if you have bought something recently, wait for 2 years. This will settle out one way or the other. It's gonna settle out, but it will take 2 years. Now, is there a benefit of that, like, weathering the storm? Yes, you will get AM5 socket, you will get DDR5, you will get PCI 5. But you might be like, can't I get most of these things now? Yes and no. DDR5, for a specific example, you can get DDR5, but generally they are Mark 1 motherboards. Mark 1 motherboards are generally never good. You do need some revisions before you actually start to utilize the full performance of a new generation. It's a common thing, it happens all the time, and that's why right now DDR5 motherboards, they are not performing that well. People are like comparing us, like, dude, it's more or less like DDR4. That's supposed to happen. That same thing happened when we jumped from DDR3 to DDR4. So do not panic over that. That's supposed to happen. That's why, like, if you can wait for 2 years, this will be a very big boost for you, where you're gonna jump into a system which is completely mature, completely healthy, and you're gonna be happy about that. Now, if you have to buy, if you're like in my kind of scenario, again, I'm stuck because of high court, but like, if you're in my case of scenario, it's like you have to change the computer, do it now, because flat out future is unknown. This war, again, I'm hoping, because you are seeing this video 1 week after I have made it, I hope that dispute has settled down. Otherwise, this is gonna be really bad. And at this point in time, desktop is becoming something that I will not recommend in good conscience, because it's not worth spending 2x or 3x, because old wisdom was laptop is expensive, desktop is cheap. Desktop is 3x more expensive at this point in time. Like, people are telling me the prices of desktops that they have physically bought. I know these people. It's expensive. It's ludicrously expensive, meaning, yes, laptop does not last very long, meaning you are lucky if you are only gonna get 2 or 3 years of life out of it. Here's the deal. The price overhike that you are paying for this puppy is like, take that money, buy an amazing gaming laptop, use it, YOLO use it for 2 years, and then buy a new laptop. And that will have latest things again. Laptop supply chain is far more robust than anything else. So again, you will have a latest and greatest again. So flat out, desktops are no longer price viable at this point in time. Flat out, it's just no. Like, this laptop that has the same graphics card as, and now be mindful, yes, this graphics card will perform much better, but again, it will also consume much more electricity. You have to pay the electricity bill. Like, this electrical consumption is equivalent to this whole laptop. This laptop has screen, processor, everything. So from a practical point of view, this is far more better value for money from every single point of view. So fundamentally, laptops are a really good option. But one thing you have to be very mindful about: making laptop child's play. Making sure that laptop runs cool, that's the difficult aspect of it. Fundamentally, thermal envelope is the final nail in the coffin in laptops. Everything else about laptop we have sorted out. Webcams, to display, to keyboard, to trackpad, everything. Like, everything physical that has to be sorted has been sorted, except the thermal envelope part. Thermal envelope, simply decide temperature matters more at this point. Do not, if you have to choose between, let's say, MSI or Asus, try to focus on the reviews of the temperature, how they are performing in terms of temperature. Like, try to see how they work in stress loss. Try to see what is the backing behind it. Can you put it on top of what we call laptop laptop stand and have fans directly blowing air into it to keep it cool. Can you do that? If yes, awesome. Or can you buy like some of those extreme laptops which have liquid cooling added to it? I have provided a video down below of 9 tips, which I do expect to become the next big thing, simply because that's the only way where you can truly have like 3080 3090 on a laptop and it can actually work without cooking itself. So that is one way of achieving a really good lifespan of laptops. Be mindful, at this point in time, the cost that people are paying for desktop is just not worth it. Flat out not worth it. And system integrator, they are easing out of from the basically shortage that was. From their point of view, shortage is over at this point in time. Yes, its price is still high, but not too high. So system integrator can provide you very good pricing. Again, do not expect MSRP, but do expect only 20% hike or 50% hike, not 3x or 4x that you have to do from outside market if you're trying to do assemble PC yourself. So at this point in time, delay is unwise. Either you bunker down and be like, okay, I'm gonna deal with this 2 years from now, or you just you bite the bullet. Because if the stockpiles run out and we have not sorted the crisis, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really, really bad. Now I'm noticing a pattern here. That pattern is the worst case scenario pattern, meaning anything that can go bad is going bad. Like back in the days, oh my god, I'm old. Back in the days of 2021, we thought Israel-Palestinian conflict is the worst conflict. Russia is hold my beer or vodka. So you get that point. Things are getting worse. So what is the worst thing that could happen? Well, the way PC prices are going, I'm talking specifically for desktop, it could go the route of digital camera, meaning how they went extinct. Same thing could happen to desktop, simply because the boon that laptop industry has seen because of work from home, it's significant. Meaning companies like HP, Dell, or every other company, they are moving way too many laptops versus per desktop that they used to move. So in this sort of scenario, it's in their best interest to put their most of the R&D into laptops. And if they put that kind of R&D into laptops becomes better. And only told you, laptops only have one fault at this point in time, which I have already seen one company have figured out how to solve it. It's just have another pipe connecting to it. Again, they have to develop better valves. Their valve system is not awesome, but again, if 10 companies try to solve it, one of them will solve it. Add a external liquid radiator, done, go home. When you are in the desktop mode, you're gonna have amazing performance. So laptop and tablet will flat out replace desktop everywhere. Because here's the deal, how often can you overpay for something? Once, done. 2 times, 3 times, yeah, that's not happening. And it will be slow death. Be mindful when I'm saying desktop, do not expect, oh, I made this video 2 years from now, see, desktops are still selling, he's stupid. It's not gonna happen like that. Same thing happened with digital camera. It did not die overnight. It did not went from 2010 to dead in 2011. It was a slow decline. 2010, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. So expect similar thing with desktop, because most people cannot afford this kind of prices. But for example, I have many friends who are what we call freelancers. They cannot pay this kind of stupid price. They cannot, because again, computer is a work equipment for them, so they have to figure that cost into their main profit. It is eating away from their main profit. And not to mention, because price of everything is going up, meaning fuel, food, these things are far more important. So they will bite the bullet. It's you know what, let the desktop go, I'm gonna buy a goddamn weaker laptop, because again, I need to feed myself. That's far more important than having a gaming desktop. This could literally create a chain reaction, cascading failure, where you can have more and more people letting go, meaning sale volume goes down, and then again a desktop industry can literally go away, because this sort of prices are flat out unsustainable. Nobody will in their right mind, once or twice is acceptable, but in their right mind is yeah, I'm not buying 6 lakhs for a goddamn desktop. It's stupid how expensive it is. Back in my days, 1 lakh rupee you could have got amazing desktop. 1 lakh today, good luck to get any desktop. You will be lucky to get a graphics card in that kind of price. That's that happened literally in few years. So this is one thing you have to understand. The desktop could literally be in worst case scenario, and next 2 years will decide what happens, because this sort of price hike cannot be sustained for long terms. Flat out it cannot. So this was my presentation on basically should you buy or should you not buy. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.